to Surf Studio. Surf Life Saving is filled with so many fantastic people and inspiring stories, and Surf Studio is designed to share some of these stories from across the country and across all areas of lifesaving. On this week's episode of Surf Studio, we head to Melbourne in Victoria to chat to Ramzi Hussaini from Bonbeach Surf Life Saving Club about fleeing to Australia as a refugee that couldn't swim, but is now a volunteer surf life saver and works to ensure others are beach and water safe. We then head to Port Douglas Surf Life Saving Club in North Queensland to chat to teenage lifeguard Mitchell Knight about the current patrol season in the north and his journey to date in surf life saving. And finally, we take a look at the inaugural Surf Life Saving Australia Women's Mentoring Program, launched by Life member Suzanne Story on the 1st of July in conjunction with the 40 Years of Women in Surf Life Saving milestone.
Ramzi Hussaini, thank you so much for joining us here today on Surf Studio. We're so excited to have you on board. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Ramzi Hussaini, and I was born in Afghanistan back when I was a little baby, and then family decided to move to Pakistan. So I was raised in Pakistan and spent quite most of my years in Pakistan. And it was around 2000 and end of 2011 when I decided to come to Australia in a unique way. So I'm a refugee and asylum seeker. I came by boat and spent quite some time in several sort of a different processing immigration system. It was in 2012 when I decided to settle in Melbourne. So that was, I crossed borders and seas, oceans to get here, and I reckon it's well worth it.
Now, you came to Australia in such a unique way. What was it? How did you come to join lifesaving?
How I came to Australia actually motivated me to be involved in surf lifesaving, or even to learn about water safety, because when I first came in back home, Afghanistan and Pakistan, we didn't really have any ocean or creeks or some sort of a pool that we would swim. So considering the background, you wouldn't imagine someone from Afghanistan to be a lifesaver. But that was the main thing when I was traveling on a boat, not knowing how to swim, not having the life-saving equipment on a boat, and you're taking the risky journey, the boat to get to your destination. And that kind of, after I realized actually that how actually it was a bit risky, not a bit risky, actually it was a lot risky journey to take without any water safety knowledge. So when I got in Melbourne in Australia, that was the priority, to learn how to swim, and again be a part of Australian culture.
And tell us, what was the first club that you joined when you came to Australia?
Well, my first club was at Inaugural Life Saving Club, which was introduced by Multicultural Life Saving Victoria's Multicultural Department. So we had a classroom session where we were taught about water safety, and then we were given an opportunity to have a day out at the beach, first experience at the beach after our arrival, and that was at Edifel Life Saving Club, and that is actually a beautiful, nice bay beach. So getting into that water and beautiful, it's one of the most beautiful part of the bay in Melbourne. So that kind of actually was quite attractive to me. And I decided to be a lifesaver, but there was a small little problem that I couldn't swim. So I had to learn how to swim, which then LSV helped me through take a pathway program, where we have a classroom session, and then a day out at the beach, then training session. So yeah, I had to go through an extensive swimming lesson, where I was then capable of making certain distance within surf life-saving certificate.
And it's such a wonderful program, the multicultural program, and you're now part of that at LSV. Is that correct?
I'm one of the multicultural project officer at Life Saving Victoria, which is a very, very fancy role, and a very I'm actually where we have certain programs for people from multicultural background. I absolutely love every single bits of the job. It is very rewarding being able to see people who have never been in the water, in the ocean or at the pool, and being able to see them continuously motivating themselves and building that confidence to even swim. And again, seeing them in a uniform, in a life-saving uniform, it is next level. So that's the most rewarding part of the job. And again, it also, I feel good when people learn about water safety, the key water safety knowledge, and that actually is a life-saving messages for them. And me being the resource, yeah, I feel really proud.
Oh, it's so fantastic. And if you were talking to anybody, regardless of where they came from, and they were thinking of joining Life Saving, what would you tell them?
Life saving is a beautiful culture, and it is Australian culture. It is about dedication. It's about motivation. It is about compassion. You being passionate to life saving is something that you give back to Australian community. So surf life saving, I'm still a member at Bonbeach Life Saving Club, and I love it. It's giving back to the community. It is thanking the community that has helped me out through my hard time, and now it's an absolute honour for me to be able to contribute to Australian communities, Australian society, and of course continuing the culture of water as well.
So we've heard so much about the journey and how you got here. What does life saving mean to you now, and has it changed over time?
Well, it certainly has changed. The passion has changed. It has driven me a lot more passionate. It has, since I started, it has opened up pathways for me. It has given me an opportunity to work within an aquatic sort of environment. Life saving is my life. It is it is the most amazing thing I've ever done, and I've done myself a favor being involved within surf life saving. And I would like to thank all the clubs that I've been involved with, especially Edithvale Life Saving Club, for training me for years, and the Bonbeach Life Saving Club for giving me a role as a multicultural support officer for me to interact with those multicultural members, and making my life and their life a lot flexible and easy, and trying to open up more opportunities for them. So yes, it has changed, and in a positive way, and I love every single day, every single hour that I spend at Life Saving Club and with the members.
Ramzi, thank you so much for coming on Surf Studio today and sharing your story. I just can't wait to see what you do next.
No problems at all. Thank you very much, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Mitch Knight from Port Douglas Surf Life Saving Club. What a beautiful backdrop there.
Sure is. One of the best beaches in Queensland, I would say.
Tell us a little bit about your life-saving career to date.
Well, I started in Green Caps, and I've stayed with the Port Douglas Surf Life Saving Club all the way up till now. I'm still a strong member. My age group had one of the strongest group of kids, so we've had a really good run with keeping a lot of our members involved in surf life saving. So still involved with the surf sports, but also volunteer patrols, and now a lifeguard as well.
People on the east coast of Australia would think of, when they think of the beach, they think of big waves, rip currents and the like. How is lifesaving different in far North Queensland?
For our patrolling season, starting in April, we do still have the stinger nets in place. So right at the beginning, our lifesavers do have to have a whole plethora of knowledge, not only about all the rescue techniques and first aid, but also being able to identify different stingers just by irritation on the skin. Also how to treat those patients, being able to identify jellyfish we may catch in our drags and the like. So having that whole range of knowledge is something that the lifesavers do really well up in the North Queensland region. But then moving outside of stinger season, when we get past sort of May time, we do tend to have a lot less going on, but you still get a lot of the first aids and people hurting themselves, which everyone's really knowledgeable about the first aid as well. So not too different in terms of helping people out. We still have that core focus of zero preventable deaths in the water, but we don't have too many things to worry about in terms of rips and undercurrents and stuff like that.
You talk about the stinger nets. How hard is it to educate people to swim in the stinger nets? Obviously, you've got a whole stretch of beach there, but there's only a small proportion that obviously has the stinger nets. Tell us a bit about that.
You're right there. We do have the box jellyfish up in our area, so they are one of the most venomous creatures on the planet, unfortunately. The net is specifically designed to keep those jellyfish in particular out. But yes, keeping people within the stinger net is probably the main focus. And just a lot of the towns as well around our region, they all know about the stinger situation. So when people are visiting cafes and resorts and stuff like that, they help us out a little bit and let people know of the stinger risk and what time of year the stinger nets are in place and where it is safe to swim. So we really have a good relationship with those cafes and sort of the local community.
And you're also a volunteer drone pilot with the Westpac Lifesaver Rescue Drone Service. Tell us a little bit about being involved in the drone program.
The drone program, especially in our area, has given people a lot of reassurance. There is a fear around crocodiles all along the coast in North Queensland, and having those drones, having that service there has really helped us and the community as well get back out into those beaches and give them a bit of confidence. Being able to just do routine patrols along the beach and having a very visible operating system really helps people with that confidence, like I said, but also us being able to make sure our area is as safe as possible.
One of the major rescues that you did was just after you got your IRB driver's license. It was literally straight after you got it. Tell us a little bit about that particular rescue.
This was probably one of my first major rescues as well. It was straight off the back of getting my drivers, like you said, but also we're at our first carnival of the season down at Mission Beach. A call came through initially that an elderly couple had twisted their ankle while walking on the beach and just needed a bit of assistance to get back to their car. So we jumped in the IRB and went on our way. As we sort of progressed down to the area we were told they were at, we started noticing that there was a lot of fireys was there as well. So the situation was getting a bit more intense. We liaised with them and it turns out that they were called to a couple that had fallen off a lookout on the headland. So we put two and two together and realised we were there for the same thing. They utilised us to go around seaside of the headland to see if we could spot anyone. Sure enough, there was a couple there that had fallen roughly around 20 metres from the lookout. We used the IRB that accessed the location. I sent my crewman up there. He analysed what was going on. I was able to tell the paramedics and the fireys where the two were located. The area they were in was inaccessible from the lookout itself. The fireys couldn't abseil down or anything like that. So we used our IRB, picked up the paramedics and a couple fireys to bring them to the patients. From then on, they did some assessments and quickly realised we were going to need the rescue chopper to be able to winch them to safety. This is the first time I've ever been involved with a rescue with the rescue chopper as well, so it's quite exciting. It took about 20 minutes to get there, and I was sort of just sitting in the IRB, keeping an eye on everything, making sure they were all good. But yeah, they just did about 4 winches, put a crewman down, winched the 2 patients up to the chopper, and then took them to the hospital. But it wasn't really over then because we didn't have any daylight left. The sun had set, and had to take the paramedics back to their ambo, which was quite close. But then we had 4 really burly fireys we had to get back to the fire truck. And all we could go off was a little light at the boat ramp, and we just aimed for that and hoped for the best. Got there, and then it was a bit of a mission to find the surf club, but eventually got back there, and it was a job well done with involving all emergency services.
Fantastic. Mitch Knight, thank you so much for joining us on Surf Studio.
No worries, thanks for having me.
Tonight we have launched the National Women's Mentoring Program for Surf Life Saving, and this will provide the opportunity for 20 women mentees to be matched with 20 women mentors, and the mentoring program is really to support those 20 mentees with their life-saving leadership aspirations, but also their broader life aspirations. And I certainly have benefited in my career, both in surf life saving and more broadly, from having great mentors, and we wanted to create that opportunity for women in life saving, and no better day to do it than on the 40-year anniversary of women being able to do their bronze medallion in surf life saving. I believe it has the potential to change lives and to create great opportunities and a great network across surf life saving.
Today we also come together to launch the Women's Mentoring Program. Currently, females make up 45% of the membership, some 48% of the nippers, but for me, only 20.6% of the women hold senior roles at national, state, branch or club. We've got to do a lot better than that, Suzanne.
Yeah.
And through the Women's Mentoring Program, we have a target to increase women in leadership roles 40% over the next 10 years. The Women's Mentoring Program supports our new Surf Life Saving Strategic Plan 2025, which coincidentally comes in today, our mission, and we're looking at developing leadership roles that better reflects the diversity of the organisation. The program will support and encourage confident, strong and skilled female representation within the surf life saving movement, and identify and develop the next generation of female leaders to position surf life saving for the future. And it's my hope that during that timeline, we'll see the first female president of Surf Life Saving Australia.
Like if you go to the clubs, I'd say 40% of the clubs, the chief instructor, which is one of the most important positions in a club, is done by women.
Yeah.
And it shows that they are taking the roles. They've just got to be encouraged a bit more.
Yeah.
And I think the program will do that. And I congratulate all you people who are getting behind it, because that's the way to go.
Thanks for watching Surf Studio. We would encourage you to get in touch with us to send through ideas or stories for future episodes. Contact the team via our social media channels or email us at surfstudio@slsa.asn.au.